All right, let's talk about something that drives so many English learners nuts. You've got the grammar down, you know tons of words, but when you speak, you still feel like you sound like you're reading from a textbook, right? Well, today we're going to fix that. So let's start with a feeling that I'm guessing is super familiar. You've put in the hours, right? You've memorized all those grammar rules, but then you go to actually speak and it feels a little robotic, doesn't it? Something's just off. Yeah, if you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are not alone. It's this super frustrating gap, the one between knowing all the English and actually using it in a way that feels natural and, well, like you. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head, right? Real life conversations, they're not some kind of grammar test. They're fast, they're kind of messy, and they're just packed with all these little phrases and expressions that don't always make it into the textbooks. So, what do we do? How do we learn this stuff? Okay, so let's get into the solution, and it's really all about a shift in your mindset. We've got to stop thinking about English as just a bunch of individual words. Instead, we need to start thinking in phrases. The secret weapon here is something called language chunks. Seriously, just think of them like pre-built blocks of language. They're these groups of words that native speakers just use automatically without even thinking about it. Once you start learning these, your brain doesn't have to slowly build every single sentence from scratch. Nope, it just grabs the right chunk and boom, you instantly sound faster, more confident, and just way more natural. And check this out. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Yes, that time is good for me. I mean, it's grammatically perfect, right? But it sounds so stiff, so formal. Yep, works for me. That's what you're actually going to hear people say. See, it's a chunk. It's quick, it's casual, and it just flows. All right, you ready? Let's build your own personal phrase book. We're going to go through some of the most essential chunks you can literally start using today to sound more natural, like right away. Okay, first up. Greetings. I mean, we all learn hello, how are you in school, but let's be real. In a normal, casual chat, you're way more likely to hear someone say, how's it going? Or just, what's up? And, when you bump into someone you haven't seen in forever, ditch the formal stuff. A simple, warm, long time no see is perfect. It packs so much into just a few words. Surprise, shared history, just being happy to see them. Next, let's get into opinions and agreements. Kicking things off with, to be honest, is like a little signal that you're about to say what you really think. If you want to soften it a bit, I feel like is a great go-to. But what about on the listening side? This is huge. Fair enough is such a brilliant phrase. It lets you acknowledge their point even if you don't agree. And I hear you, oh, that one's pure gold. It's all about empathy. It basically says, I get where you're coming from. And sometimes that's way more important than actually agreeing. Okay, making plans. We do this all the time. Instead of the kind of clunky, do you want to get coffee? Just try, want to grab coffee? It's so much more competent. Now, the tricky part, canceling. You don't need to write a whole novel explaining why. A simple, hey, so sorry, but something came up is all you need. And here's the pro move. If you actually want to reschedule, follow it up with, can I get a rain check? It's the perfect, polite way to postpone things. Okay, so here's a fun little twist. What sounds natural isn't always the same everywhere. It can totally change depending on where you are in the world. So for a second, let's hop across the pond and check out some of the fun differences between US and UK English. Think of this as your quick and dirty cheat sheet. In the US, you live in an apartment, you take the elevator. Over in the UK, you live in a flat and you take the lift. You throw your bags in the trunk of your car in America, but in Britain, that's the boot. Trust me, knowing these little things can save you from some seriously confusing conversations. All right, so up until now, we've been all about what you say. But here's the thing. Sounding natural is just as much about how you listen. Real fluency, it's a two-way street. And learning how to be an active listener, oh, it's a total game changer. The whole idea here is to actively show the other person that you're locked in, that you're engaged. You can almost think of it in levels. So level 1 is just the basic sounds, mm-hmm, uh-huh. Level 2, you graduate to simple reaction words like really or wow. Level 3 is a super cool technique. You echo back a key word they just said. And level 4, this is the expert move, the echo question. Okay, let's break this down because it sounds way more complicated than it is. All you do is you grab the helping verb from what they just said and you turn it into a mini question. So if they say, I have never tried that, you just reply, Haven't you? Or if they say, I can't stand it, you say, can't you? And if there isn't a helping verb, like an I quit my job, you just pop in do or did. So your response is just, did you? It's such a powerful way to show you are hanging on their every word. Okay, I know we just threw a ton of information at you, and it can definitely feel like, whoa, that's a lot. But listen, the real secret to making progress isn't to go and memorize 50 new phrases. No way. It's all about taking small, doable steps. So I want to leave you with a super simple challenge.
That's it. Just 3. That is the magic number. Seriously, don't try to master everything we talked about today. Just pick 3.
So here's your mission. It's simple. Pick just 3 phrases from this explainer that you actually liked, and your only goal is to use them today. Maybe you text an old friend, hey, long time no see. Or maybe in a meeting at work, you show a coworker some support by saying, I hear you. Heck, it can even be something you say to yourself at the end of the day, like, all right, time to call it a day. Look, starting small is how you build real habits and genuine confidence. This stuff takes time, for sure. But every single time you use one of these phrases, you're taking one more step towards sounding more natural and, more importantly, feeling more like yourself when you speak English. So my question to you is, which 3 are you going to use today?